Welcome! So, today I want to talk about something completely different. That's a question that obviously came up on my Discord and some other areas as well. And that is, if you want to invest some money into the game, if you actually want to buy something, what should you focus on? I'm honestly of the opinion that, for me personally, I really don't get a lot of packs. I loved it when they still had a battle pass in the game. That's way back, and I usually got myself the battle pass. I got a Stag Knight back then in the first one, and that was one of my favorite champions that I ever had there. So if there are battle passes, in my personal opinion, and I'm not talking about the Forge Pass, I gotta admit that when it comes to the Forge Pass, I'm not really the biggest fan. I don't think that at least for me personally, I don't think that the rewards are really worth it. When there are champion passes that they occasionally had, I think they just had one for Reviver for Ragnar Draft. That is a little bit of a different story. Passes in any of these games, for me, is always a huge incentive, because normally the rewards that you get are pretty big, because it's not only something where you pay something, you also have to play in order to get it. So normally any company that runs a game like this is increasing the rewards accordingly. So passes is something that I personally actually like quite a lot. Forge Pass, ever since it was introduced, never really was for me. I'm not really that much into the Forge games here. When we're talking about the Forge, I am heavily reliant on perception sets. There's a couple of others where you can also get some nice stuff. Guardian, for example. I think I have on the main account a couple of guys in Lethal. So a lot of these things can be quite useful, but generally speaking, a Forge Pass is not something that I personally would invest anything into. What I think is probably the best bang for your buck, especially if you are only on a low spender side, is the daily gem pack. 2,100 gems, that goes a long way. And that might not be as sexy as looking at, oh, we're going to go for shards right now. But a lot of the packs that you can get with shards, I'm always a little bit torn on it. I honestly don't really see the reason. One of the biggest things that you will be lacking in the game for a long time until you're excelling at clan boss and getting on the real high levels is, for example, tombs. Shards is obviously something we always want, but tombs is something that is gonna be pretty difficult to get. At least initially for you. Later on it gets a bit easier. But when you look at the gem shop, for example, there's a lot of stuff that you can actually get with gems. Now, first and foremost, you're going to get a lot of energy. So let's say, for example, that you saved up a lot of gems, or you got yourself one of those daily gem packs, and then you have a tournament coming up that you want to invest into. Energy is going to be your friend there. This is really what you're going to do with your gems. You're going to invest a lot into energy, and then you're just going to massively farm. So just recently we had the Dragon Slayer tournament where you got also like a 3 times chance to get a speed item, right? Speed set item. And in that one, I pulled all of my gems, because it's just one of the best things that you can do. You get not only the speed set, which is one absolute cornerstone of any equipment that you have for your champions, but on top of that too, you're also getting everything out of that tournament, and if you win it, then you get also relentless items. So that's actually pretty huge. So gems for energy, this is one of my biggest advices. When you are seeing an opportunity to win a tournament, go for it. Or when you're farming a specific set, it could be a Savage set, of course, as well. If you find yourself at any point then in a situation where you, for example, also need shards, ancient shards, you can get them through gems too. Personally, I would only do that in a very niche situation, but there are actually instances where it makes sense. For example, when there is a fusion coming up, or there is like a certain champion that you can get, most of those are tied to events. So there's like a pull event where you need to gain new champions, and you're running out of shards. It can actually be worth it to invest some gems to get more shards, pull a couple of champions, and again get the threshold for those events. I think that's actually one on right now. We don't have any to get champions for this, but as you can see here, we currently have Indeed with him, so one something there. I can't get the shards for this, my count is just not high enough for it, but oftentimes, again, those shards are gated on events or tournaments, and some of those are always just champion pulls or open shards events, so in a situation like this, that can be absolutely worth it. So that's the main reason why, for me personally, the biggest bang for your buck is this one. It is fairly cheap, gives you a lot of stuff, and you have tons of flexibility with it. Now there are every now and then also a few additional packs that are quite nice. A Warrior Circle is something that can change, which can be nice. But anything that involves direct shards is usually something that I don't really think is worth it. Now, obviously, that always depends a little bit on how much money you're willing to spend, but for me personally, it's mostly a no. And when it comes to the sets as well, because it's on the one hand, it's a nice thing, you know, if you're getting a full set and you have the legendaries, but at the same time, you're looking, for example, at boots, and what are you going to do with your boots if you're rolling here no speed as a main stat? Even if you use the Chaos Ore in order to reroll something, if it then doesn't roll speed as a main stat, that's immediately useless. So that's a sell right there. So that's one of the main reasons why I personally would not go for it. So anything that revolves around sets, anything that evolves mainly around shards is something that for me personally isn't really worth it. Other people might disagree. I think this one, the mini mix pack, is actually kind of fun and sometimes worth it. It's insanely cheap. It gives you a shard. I still remember, I believe, that at the beginning of my main account, I, for example, needed experience for day because I was upgrading stuff, and I looked at the pack and I was like, well, I need a chicken, I need the shard here. So something like this, it can be worth it. But obviously, it's always a question on how much you're willing to invest here. The daily energy, it's a little bit similar to the daily gem pack, I assume, but with the daily gem pack, you have a little bit more flexibility. So that's a big one, at least from my personal perspective. And yeah, outside of that, you have a couple of higher priced ones that also give you a lot of progression here. But as I already said, when we're not talking about something that is only temporarily available, I personally, if you want to go for go and spend something, would go for the gem pack. And then when there's passes, check if there's, for example, a champion that you can get that you don't have yet, and play around that. But for me personally, this is what I would stick to. Again, you're going to use gems for a lot here. At times, even, for example, even if you want to win an arena tournament, you can just get a couple of additional arena coins through gems, as you can see here in the gem shop. And yep, there we are for the arena refill, and that might just be what gives you the edge over somebody else here. So that would be my personal recommendation. Again, a little bit of a shorter video today, but if you've been looking at the shop and you've been wondering, hey, what is actually worth it, what is a good, like, good bang for your buck, that would be it from my perspective. So that is already it for the day. So guys, hope you took some value out of it and that it helped you. If you have any questions, as usual, drop a comment, and see you on the next one.